Hi, I'd like to share an introduction to 3rd John with you. The theme of this short letter is good versus evil, and it's even going to show us a contrast between two characters. An evil one described and named as Diotrephes, and a good one named Demetrius. And so the theme of this book is in 3rd John verse 11. It says, "Dear friend, do not imitate what is evil, but what is good. Anyone who does what is good is from God." And so this theme of good and evil is really emphasized, the difference between a commendation or a condemnation. And it describes who's our friends and who's our foes. Friends are friends, foes are foes. We need to fellowship with the friends and not fellowship with the foes. And then a brother is a brother. We need to fellowship with the faithful. So the characters, he starts out in verse 1 of 3rd John, the elder to my dear friend Gaius, whom I love in the truth. So the elder, the Apostle John, is writing to his friend Gaius, who he probably studied the Bible with, is one of his personal disciples in the Lord, who he's mentoring, and probably one of the elders or one of the ministers of the church. And then he's going to describe later Diotrephes and Demetrius. And then at times he's talking to the whole church. He says, brothers and sisters, what you're doing for the brothers and sisters. So the letter begins after the initial address and has a word of encouragement. It says in verses 2 through 4, "Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. It gave me great joy when some believers came and testified about your faithfulness to the truth, telling how you continue to walk in it. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth." And so he encourages his friend. He says in verse 1, "Dear friend, I love in the truth." And then verse 2, "Dear friend, I pray that you enjoy good health and well-being for your soul." And verse 3 says, "Dear friend, I heard that you walk in the truth and you're faithful to the truth." And then verse 4 it says, "And dear friend, I rejoice. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the light and in the truth." In verse 5 he says, "Dear friend, I admire that you help the brothers and sisters and some that are strangers." And then verse 11 he says, "Dear friend, imitate what's good and not evil." So a great discussion question is, what is your prayer for your friends? John shares a prayer for his friend and an encouragement about his friend. And so what do you pray for your friend? And then he talks about different brothers and sisters in the church, and talking about Gaius. He says, "Dear friend, you are faithful in what you are doing for the brothers and sisters, even though they're strangers to you. They have told the church about your love, and it gave me great joy when some of the believers came and testified about your faithfulness to the truth, telling how you continue to walk in it." And so a way to describe Gaius is he's a truth walker. He's got heart. He welcomes those people that are brothers and sisters as well as strangers. He's a truth seeker. He's honorable. He says, please send them on their way in a manner that's honorable to God. And so he's a truth seeker. He's a truth talker. He uses the scriptures in the Holy Bible. It says, "And for the sake of the name, they sent out others without receiving help from the pagans." And then he's a truth partner. He's hospitable. It says that we ought to therefore show hospitality to such people and who work together with us for the truth. So a good discussion question is, how can you show hospitality to friends and strangers? And then he describes Diotrephes in 3rd John 1, 9 and 10. It says, "I write to the church, but Diotrephes, who loves to be first, will not welcome us. So when I come, I will call attention to what he is doing, spreading malicious nonsense about us. Not satisfied with that, he even refuses to welcome other believers. He even stops those who want to welcome those other believers and puts them out of the church. So Diotrephes is described as a prideful person. He loves to be first. He persecutes even good people. He drives them out. He's possessive. He will not support, it says. He shows preference. He refuses to welcome. He pollutes. It says he gossips. He's poisons. It says he maliciously speaks. And then he exerts power. He stops those who want to do good. And he perverts. He's not satisfied, and he's puffed up. He cannot follow. People who cannot be disciples, cannot follow, cannot submit. They're like Diotrephes. But then he describes Demetrius. He says, "Dear friend, do not imitate what is evil, but what is good. Anyone who does what is good is from God. Anyone who does what is evil has not seen God." Demetrius is well spoken of by everyone, and even by the truth itself. We also speak well of him, and you know that our testimony is true. 3 John 11 through 12. And so Demetrius is commended. He's well spoken of by everyone. He's a servant. He does what's good. He has great relationships. All speak well of him. And he's orthodox. Even by the truth itself, he's commended. And then the letter ends in a description of brotherhood. It says in 3 John 13 and 14, "I have much to write to you, but I do not want to do so with pen and ink. I hope to see you soon, and we will talk face to face. Peace to you. The friends here send their greeting. Greet the friends there by name." So he describes a sense of wanting to have a reunion. I have much more to write, but I don't want to do it with pen and ink. And then he says it's very personal. I want us to renew our relationship. I hope to see you soon and talk face to face. Peace to you. And then he ends describing friendship. The friends here send their greetings and greet the friends there by name. So a great discussion question is, what's the difference between Diotrephes and Demetrius, and who should we welcome and greet? All right. God bless you. And as the Apostle John said in this letter, peace be with you. Amen. I hope this blesses your life. Thank you so much.